Hello and welcome back to another episode of Baseball Night. I'm your host, Tom Brown, joined as always by my brother, Jack. Jack, as we were chopping it up before the episode, I checked my phone and we are 2 weeks away from opening day.
Let's go. Let's play some baseball. To be perfectly honest with you, Tom, I have been almost exclusively watching the World Baseball Classic. I will watch the Red Sox games not live as they're happening, but I will watch at least the first couple of innings to see, the names play. But yeah, I am I'm drunk on baseball right now, and I'm pretty excited about opening day.
Yeah, I've been pretty much the same TV schedule for me. I've found it harder to watch the Red Sox when Greg Allen's leading off. It's not, the lineup I want to see with all the good players are in the WBC, which has been awesome, but it's harder to watch the actual spring training games.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with Greg Allen is, even if he has a monster spring, he's starting the season in Worcester.
Exactly.
You're just not going to see him. I've been tuning in more to see the pitchers pitch. I mean, Whitlock pitched for the first time yesterday. Sale had another great outing we're going to get into. So I want to see how those guys pitch, some of the bullpen guys pitch. And obviously every Tristan Casas is bad. I am glued to my TV screen because I don't know, man. I think he's going to be a big producer for the Red Sox, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. So speaking of the starting pitchers, because again, same boat. I'm watching the starters, and then if they have a reliever that's not Ryan Brazier scheduled to go in about the third or fourth inning, I'll watch that, and then I kind of peter off. But opening day starter is going to be Corey Kluber, they announced. I think more than anything, it lined up by how starts are. And
yeah,
I was sitting down writing my notes this morning, and I just started thinking, let me give you, so Corey Kluber is going to start opening day. Let me give you a list of other pitchers that will be throwing that day. By my guess, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, or Justin Verlander, because they're on the same team. Garrett Cole, Sandy Alcantara, Shane Bieber, Shane McClanahan, Spencer Strider, Corbin Burns, Shohei Ohtani. One of those is
everybody's
not like
ace.
The other.
Everybody's ace. If by that you're saying Scherzer, Verlander, DeGrom, and Kluber are the only guys who win Cy Youngs, right? That's what you're saying.
Didn't Bieber win?
No, Tom, of course. What?
Didn't Bieber win?
Oh, Biebs? Yeah, Biebs did win one. He did. Listen.
Come on, get your shit together.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. I think that first off, there's a lot of things to unpack here. One, is Chris Sale the ace of your staff? Is that what we're going with? We're going with Chris Sale should be the opening day starter, because I got to tell you, there was a lot of complaining and bullshittery around, oh, he's not tough, he's not going to make opening day. It doesn't matter. No. Only if you have an opening day tradition where you go to Fenway Park 30 of 40 years, 39 out of 40 straight seasons. Shout out to Carl Sargent for that. Great job. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Nobody has ever looked back on a season and said, who was their opening day starter outside of a trivia game show? Nobody cares.
No,
let Sale take as much time as he wants, because he's going to need it. And again, it goes back to the shit we talked about last April on the podcast, where Dave Roberts took out Clayton Kershaw. I think it's overmanaged. I think the managers love to overmanage in April, and this is a clear example of it. But I also don't think that this is anything outside of any kind of big deal. And thirdly, I don't think Chris Sale's the ace, so he shouldn't be your opening day starter anyways.
No, I agree. And it is just it's so ceremonial, because I fucking love opening day, but at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, so I guess it will be Sale versus whomever tomorrow, and I just am like, okay. And just because it's opening day, if they lose, it's like, oh shit, lost opening day. And it's like, but what the fuck does that matter?
Yeah.
I believe
Well,
they
then,
lost opening day in 2018. They won 119 total games that year.
mhm. And then, I mean, Bronson Arroyo was an opening day starter for the Red Sox.
Yeah,
Irrelevant.
David Wells.
He dominated the Phillies that day, and John Henry went back and he said, "I think we have our ace." And of course, he was wrong because John Henry doesn't know anything about baseball. But
Mm.
it's ceremonial is a perfect word for it. That's what it is. That's the only thing that it is. It was something. It's always something to say, this is my best pitcher, and I'm going to start the season with him. I get that, but I don't think that's how baseball anymore. This isn't 1999 where it's like, this is Pedro versus Clemens on opening day and it's must see TV. I don't think anybody like baseball people are going to get excited about opening day regardless because it's the season starting. Um, who cares? I want him to make 30 starts. I don't care if the first game of the year is one of them.
Yeah. And that goes right into, there was an article in The Athletic that I guess, now I'm just going to say this. I don't listen to Boston sports radio, but I guess
Yeah.
Boston sports radio was picking apart Sale because someone said, totally like misinterpreted the article because I read it saying it it's Sale's birthday is opening day. So like Cora, they were trying to say Cora said that was a reason. No, wasn't even in the article. It just said it happens to be his birthday.
Yeah.
Cora did know it would. It tells me Cora knows Sale's a bit of a head case and would try and get too amped up and try and throw like he was 2016 Chris Sale again. Probably hurt himself. So let the pomp and circumstance go by and just pitch the next fucking game. And then you have 160 left. It is.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean, I think that excuse is a little flimsy. Even if it is an excuse, like I don't know. I do think Sale's a head case, but again, I just don't think it matters. And the guys on the radio, I know we're technically doing a radio show about the Red Sox, but they
Different
just
format.
want to freak out over shit. And that sounds like a classic somebody reading a headline of a story and not reading the story and then regurgitating it as they know everything. So it doesn't matter. I wish they had a clear-cut ace that I could be upset is not starting on opening day, but
Right.
I don't think that's the case with this rotation. And whatever, he's going to pitch the second game of the year, and hopefully he pitches as well as he's pitched in the spring, because it's our next topic here, and he did another great outing where he went three innings, struck out 5, and didn't give up anything.
No, just one flimsy hit. And yeah, I mean, there's not much more to talk. I mean, opening day, we'll get to it, and we're gonna totally reverse ourselves in 2 weeks when we do a podcast, and we're like, holy shit, opening day. But
Yeah.
that's what you do. But
Again, and it's a weird spring training because there is a very competitive baseball tournament happening right now.
mm-hmm.
Like if it wasn't the World Baseball Classic, we'd be probably more focused on like how many pitches he threw, how did Whitlock look in his first start. But in reality, everybody's just Major League Baseball is on complete pause until after next Tuesday.
Yeah. I think Sale looked very good, very efficient. He's someone sorry. He's someone that is going the pitch clock's not going to affect him. He's always been a get the ball, throw the ball, which is my type of pitcher.
Absolutely. I think, but just to add before you continue, I think the pitch clock is going to affect hitters way more than it's going to affect pitchers.
Yeah. I still don't know why you need more than 20 seconds to figure it out as a hitter, but that's me. I didn't make it to the major leagues, obviously, because I'm here doing this. In more pitching news, Brian Bayo pitched a bullpen or live BP yesterday, Wednesday, and they're thinking he's going to get into a game next week, which will, I think he's just on track to kind of join the team later in April.
Yeah. I think he'll start the year in the IL. Again, I'm not 100%. Two things. I don't think the Red Sox are going to do much. We're going to get to our predictions as we get closer to opening day. I'm not alone in saying that they're not projected to do much in the American League. What I'd like to see is Bayo and Casas and some of these young guys just continue to visibly develop. And if that means that Bayo joins the team closer to May so we can get a full spring training under his belt, that's fine. Give me a healthy kid who wants to pitch. Like that's all I want.
Yeah. And the same goes for Whitlock. Although Whitlock, I think it was about Whitlock I read, the way he's going to ramp up now is going to line up perfectly to maybe be activated or brought up or start like the 5th or 6th game. His timeline will just work out that he kind of doesn't miss a rotation spot, but I mean, that all depends on how he does and how he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, there's less questions with Whitlock. Obviously, his health is a question because it's his hip. But there's less questions with Whitlock than Bayo because Whitlock has kind of already performed at a high level in the majors.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, injury wise, it seems like they have a plan, which we have been worried about with the Red Sox for a long, long time now.
Well, it's not their front office.
That's true.
So.
And then last exciting news about spring training. Like, it's hard. Devers is, spoiler alert for the second half segment, Devers is coming back, which will be nice to watch in these games. Hell, he'll probably even play Friday. I don't think they have a game today, but
yeah,
Marcelo Meyer got into 2 games, doubled in his first game, maybe even his first at bat. And all I wrote down was, you love to see it.
You do love to see it. And you know what else you'd love to see is getting that kid in front of AA or AAA pitching this year.
I can't imagine he's not at least in AAA. But what is he, 19?
Yeah, he'll probably end the year in AAA. I'm saying he ends the year in Worcester. He'll probably start in Portland.
Which, yes, because for how long have people said, like, that's where the prospects go? If you're a high-ranked prospect, you go to AA. And let me tell you,
a lot of dudes fuck around in single A for so long.
Sox prospects have him. Is that the Sea Dogs logo? I can't tell. No.
Is it a
no,
P?
It's not. It's Gwinnett.
Gwinnett?
Gwinnett.
Oh, yikes.
So I don't know. But
high A or single A, yeah.
They're saying his arrival would be late 2024. That's the estimate on Sox prospects, which is next year. That's great. He'd be 21. I don't know. I bet he gets to AA at some point this year, unless he struggles mightily.
They need a shortstop.
They do. We'll get to their
shortstop. Again, he looks like he looks very raw, and he looks like a prospect, and he actually looks like a 12-year-old kid when he's batting. But get him some meaningful at bats against other guys who are going to the major leagues soon. And try to get the competition so he learns, man. Just let him learn from not being the best player on the field.
Just housekeeping wise. Oh wait, that's Brian Mata. Never mind. Read the wrong name. I thought it was Bayo, but they've taken him off as Sox prospects because he's already with the team.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we can shift to what's really been going on, and that's the World Baseball Classic. And just a check-in with Red Sox players in the Classic.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
On my notes, I went down the list here and put all their stats here if you want to go down it that way.
Yeah, that's what I planned on doing.
All right, perfect.
Go
let's
start least good to best. And so far,
perfect. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Although his team is rolling, Alex Verdugo has 1 hit.
He's 1 for 16 at .063. His Mexican teammate, also Red Sox outfielding teammate Duran, is 0 for 5.
I honestly didn't even put Duran on the list because the other guys I all consider will be like starters. So
Yeah, no, I know. There's another name you didn't put on the list that I put on too, who is going to be at the end of this conversation, who's
yes,
just having a monster
but
WBC.
also the top of my list because I remembered it, and yes. Then you have their best player, Rafael Devers. He only had two
Oh,
hits.
man, when you said Devers is back, I didn't want to say it because I know we'd be getting into the Red Sox in the WBC. I hope he has better at bats because he looked, excuse my language, Rafi, like dog shit. He was pressing, he was swinging at pitches he definitely wasn't ready for. There's no pitch clock in the WBC. However, it looks like Rafael Devers is rushing through his at bats like there's a pitch clock, which scares the shit out of me. I know it's still only March 16th. Happy 316 day, by the way.
Oh shit, I meant to mention
but
that. Yeah.
um, but yeah, he looked bad, straight up bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you hate to see that. I'm just hoping that it was so intense. The games were super intense. They were in the death lineup or the death
Well,
pool.
I know, but that actually just triggers like these are meaningful games, and guys who necessarily aren't at the top of their game yet there are guys who are producing like crazy. And it's leading up to like, oh man, this guy's probably gonna have a monster season. And it's the complete opposite with Devers. It looks like he's chasing, he doesn't look comfortable. And again, he had a lot of at bats. It was not like a one-off thing on a loaded team where he didn't get his time. He was a starting third baseman on that team.
I'll worry about that if it's May 1st and he still looks
That's
like
fine.
that.
That's fine.
Because he will face Garrett Cole at some point in
He eats him
April,
alive.
and that will right the ship. Next up, the next best was Jorge Alfaro,
Yep.
267 with two doubles, nearly
Yeah.
squeaked into the quarterfinals. Colombia.
One thing that I noticed about Alfaro in this World Baseball Classic, he can run.
Yeah,
He's not like a slow plodding catcher back there. He can move on the bases.
yeah,
And I really like that.
yeah, yeah. Looks like an athlete.
Yeah, 267 for the tournament. On a team that kind of, even at 1-4 in pool play, kind of overachieved. And yeah, good stuff from Alfaro there. I think I said last week I'm a Jorge Alfaro guy already, and this just has really shored it up.
Yeah, then you have our center field, outfield, second base, shortstop, Kike Hernandez, who's actually playing really good. 375, scored 4 runs, 2 doubles,
and he had a
4 RBI.
walk-off single.
Yeah,
And he walked off a game.
And he probably should have had a triple against the Dominican yesterday, but
yeah,
I don't know why I guess it was inconclusive, but I might have called him safe.
I thought he was out. And that's when I was watching the game, and I've been watching the World Baseball Classic, and I've told myself that is Enrique Hernandez, the starting center fielder for Team Puerto Rico. That is not Kike Hernandez, the starting shortstop for the Boston Red Sox. And I've tried to watch it like that to remove myself. And then with his 375 and 4 RBIs, he's still taking these wild uppercut swings, missing on most of them. And you said you're surprised he didn't get a triple. I'm not surprised that he ran into an out in a huge moment for his team. Well, I tried so hard to remove my personal feelings from watching him play baseball, and I can't. And he's semi-dominating the World Baseball Classic, and every time he comes up, I roll my eyes.
Yeah, I think the triple is he seems to get a little caught up in the moment. And I first noticed this and first was like, I don't know about this guy. 2020 World Series, he hit a home run, did the arm smash with Cody Bellinger and dislocated Cody Bellinger's shoulder. I was watching it happen and I was like, I think he just hurt Bellinger. And then they went about and then they came back from commercial and Bellinger was pointing to his shoulder and saying like, you ripped my shoulder out. And I was like, this guy needs to take a chill pill. And this was before he was on the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Another thing I've noticed about him is he did it once against Oakland, but he's trying to do these throws from center field where it's like, dude, like, not to sound like a little league coach here, but just hit the cutoff. He tried to make a play at the plate or something, and he launched it over Christian Vasquez's head. And I was like, that's just too much.
There's been a lot of bad defense. Granted, it's March 16th, like we said, happy 316 day. But there has been some really, really bad defense in the World Baseball Classic so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think
balls.
Yeah, definitely a lot of high breakers. There's not the Shohei Ohtani is a clear cut the best pitcher in the tournament, and it's not a lot of guys behind him.
Yeah.
So the other thing just I've noticed is the smartest thing for a pitcher to do to Kike Hernandez is go down 2-0. Because then it's just green light, green light, green light, and they're giant hell hacks. I don't know. It's frustrating. I can't remove myself to watch him. But Team Puerto Rico is on fire, and he's doing a good job at the top of their lineup.
And that brings us to Masataka Yoshida, who is having himself a good time these 5 games. 400, 555, 667. A double, a home run, 10 RBI.
Yeah, leading the tournament in RBIs. Playing on an absolutely loaded team who practices a lot together, and who really prepares for this tournament. But yeah, Yoshida is having a monster WBC. Dominated that pool play.
I don't see anyone beating them, but
if it's lined up like it is.
Section.
Yeah, let's save that. I do have one more guy that was eliminated that was having an outstanding pool play. Is Yu Chang, who broke in with the Red Sox last year.
Yeah.
Hit 438 for the tournament with 8 RBIs, and his team got bounced. So
yeah, he won the
really
pool
good
MVP.
effort. Yeah, really good effort.
I heard the name over and over and over, and then finally it hit me, and I was like, isn't he projected to be on the Red Sox bench? And sure enough, he is.
Loaded position though. A lot of traffic in front of him to get on with a major league club with, potentially Dahlbach, Turner, and Casas.
Yeah, well, I think the first name you put there should not be there, but
Tom, you and I are not in charge of the Red Sox because I agree with you.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll take a quick break here, and then we'll talk about what's going on in the WBC.
Yeah, we're into single elimination time. A lot of exciting stuff.
So it's a wonky situation now for the World Baseball Classic because Cuba and Japan have advanced to the semis.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Pool C and D ended last night with Pool C being won by Venezuela and Puerto Rico coming second. Dominican got eliminated. I think the shock was the Venezuela loss. I'm like, they went 4-0. That's shocking. And Puerto Rico, I loved that. The people that created this schedule were like, hopefully this is to win the pool, but oh my God, if this Puerto Rico Dominican last game of the pool matchup is to eliminate one and one advances, that's perfect. And that's what it was.
Yep. Yeah.
I was so stoked for that.
I know it was they were in D or is that C?
That was C.
That was the most fun pool to watch. Again, you called it the death pool. It was it's weird that Venezuela was projected as the 3rd best team there because you look at that roster and you're just like, they got a lot of major leaguers here who can play. But yeah, last night was a great game. Again, bad defense from the rookie of the year, Julio Rodriguez in center, led to a Lindor inside the park home run.
He made it around the bases in 15.2 seconds.
He was flying. And to tell you the truth, he thought it was going to be a single out of the box, and he was not breaking it towards second base until that ball ate up Rodriguez, because He turned the jets on as he touched first, and then it was like, see you later, man. That was impressive. Tough break for Puerto Rico, though, in losing Edwin Diaz. Probably even a tougher break for the New York Mets because he was wheelchaired off the field last night in a celebration.
Yeah, I was reading on Fangraphs today, just like the blog about the game, and they were interviewing Kike, and he said, "I didn't see it happen. I was just celebrating with the outfielders." And then Yadi Molina was like, "I was hugging the coaches in the dugout, and then like got tipped off to something was happening out there, and like then he ran out." So it was just the dugout and the infielders jumping up and down, like no bullpen, no outfielders, and yeah, he collapsed, grabbed his leg. At one point, almost had to get carried off, but then told the guy, "Put me down." I don't know if it was pain
Yeah.
or he's like, "This doesn't look good. You're picking me up. I'm carrying me off the field."
Yeah.
But yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. A tiny scare with Freddie Freeman's hamstring. He says that's going to be all right. And what seems to be, I don't want to speculate, but this is not a good injury for Diaz and the Mets.
No,
The pictures I saw and the video I saw, I mean, that looks like an ACL, man. I've seen a lot of players leave a field.
Yeah, that's the thing is just like with any sport, basketball, football, the non-contacts, you're like, okay, that's a ligament. That's a Achilles.
That's a season.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mets said he's gonna get more. He's back with the Mets and getting more like MRIs and stuff today, but
yeah,
they
must not be thrilled about that.
And also Kike said someone asked him like how's the like mood in the locker room, and he's like, you would not think we just beat the Dominican Republic. It was quiet and somber. Yeah. And his brother's on the team, and his brother was crying afterwards. Listen, you're my brother. I probably wouldn't cry if you tore your ACL. I'd like be helping you off the field and checking if you're all right. But
yeah, but I come into very little games to Timmy Trumpet.
Yeah,
there's less fanfare around me.
Ask Jerry Seinfeld. He thinks that turned everything around for the Mets last year in a bad way. Bringing Timmy Trumpet in, team started playing worse.
They did. I mean, that thing got over and huge, and then they really rode it into the ground, and they had him on site to play Edwin Diaz in like a nothing game.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Jerry Seinfeld was pissed about it.
I agree with Seinfeld. Yeah, it's
not
a lot that I don't agree with him on.
It just shows you that these middle-aged white owners don't have their finger on the pulse, because the Red Sox once brought in Neil Diamond to live sing Sweet Caroline, which is the worst. And it was, no one cared that Neil Diamond was there. And the song's about like a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
And Neil Diamond has a troubling history of killing crowds. The band, The Last Waltz, killed the crowd. Guess who had to come out and save it? Van Morrison. Does that have anything to do with baseball? No, but talking about Neil Diamond now.
Yeah. Saving Silverman. They're a Neil Diamond cover band. So Neil Diamond. He's universal. So since we've last talked, I think the US played all their games. They lost to Mexico handedly, but then turned around and had a 9-run first inning against Canada.
Well, I think it was pent up frustration there from the Mexico game, and for really the first two games of just not being able to score their projected 15 runs that they thought they were going to score.
Moltz made a good point after Great Britain, and I mean they did end up getting waxed by Mexico, but he said the guys they're facing in the majors are throwing 98 even this early. You're only seeing fastballs really at that point. In the timing, you're getting used to that timing, and then Great Britain comes in throwing 91, 92, and he said they were out in front.
Sometimes 85, yeah.
Yeah, Betts and Trout popping like right to mid center field. So then a guy came in for Canada, and he had the audacity to throw a knee-high 92-mile-an-hour fastball to Mike Trout, and that got Mike Trout's timing, and forget about it.
That game against Canada was basically like a big reset button. That night, I felt so bad for that 19-year-old kid who.
Oh yeah, that's brutal.
First off, he looked nervous. He looked visibly shaken when he threw his first pitch to Mookie Betts. And then like Betts gets on, Trout gets on. I think it was a 2-run double at that point by Arenado, something like that, or Goldschmidt, whoever it was. But it was just like after that, he was complete. The catcher came out and was like trying to calm him down, make him smile. And it's not even that he had like terrible stuff. He was facing a fantasy baseball lineup.
Listen, as someone who had nerves pitching at his 19 years old, mine was against oh man, what college did Matt go to for like 4 months?
Wentworth.
No, it wasn't Wentworth. It was some Boston college, but division.
Wentworth Institute of Technology.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't that one. But it was, I forget who it was, but I go in as a freshman. My first 8 pitches were balls. And the thing is they didn't have, whatever school it was, didn't have 5 combined most valuable player awards in the first 3 batters. I don't know how that 19-year-old kid went out there and got it over the plate. He didn't do well, but there is no shame in being 19 years old in single A and pitching to that lineup and having that result. And I hope everyone Canadians are nice, so they probably all were telling him that. But just saying, like, don't worry about it, because that could very well happen to Sandy Alcantara. Like, that could happen. Jose Barrios could face that lineup and give up 6 runs. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I'm a little worried because again, they played Columbia and won 3-2 with Trout driving in all 3 runs.
Yeah, Mike Trout beat Columbia.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know, man. I'm worried about them in the single elimination games because Venezuela has some serious major league players. And unfortunately, the Americans pitching staff is less than ideal for these games.
That's it for me. I think the pitching staff, I do not worry about the lineup. I just don't. Arenado's locked in, Trout's locked in. Mookie's like, you're just going to shift on me and give me that hole? I'll get on base because Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado come behind me.
Mookie was almost, his at-bats were like watching somebody like, we're going to get out of pool play. I just want to get my hands right. That's what it was like watching Mookie Betts. Like he was, even though he has like a 250 average or 230, something along those lines, but it doesn't look like he didn't look nearly as bad as Devers looked. Like, I don't necessarily worry about their offense. I do worry about their offense getting you into a huge hole and then having to try to push and put stuff up, which is what they were doing against Mexico.
Yes. Yeah, I've been texting you guys that I feel like the U.S. caught a break coming in second because Venezuela won and Venezuela's 4-0, but Puerto Rico's pitching is scarier to me. And then the semifinal game would be against Japan. Now they're playing Cuba, which has 2 major leaguers and then other professional players, but just not a lineup of major leaguers, which Japan and Puerto Rico have. Mainly a
well, so does Venezuela.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the pitching goes Japan, Puerto Rico, probably then Venezuela.
Yes.
So that would be my biggest concern for the U.S. is now you don't have to worry about 2 of those teams. If you can avoid Japan until the final, you're golden, which they are right now. But I think it broke well for them getting on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, it definitely did. Have you, and I have this here as a last note here. Well, I mean, we won't be on until this is over. So what do you got here? What do you got for a prediction?
I actually think the U.S. beats Venezuela and Cuba. I think it'll be USA Japan.
Because you know who's going to pitch for Japan in the finals.
Yeah, but that's what everyone wants.
I know.
And
that is what everybody wants. The only thing that I would want more than that happening and being Japan versus US in the final, and this is going to sound crazy, I wished it was in the Tokyo Dome. because that crowd for all of Japan's games was on fire, and it was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I got a thing about the venues. The venues to me, other than the one in Taiwan, have been blah. Like obviously the atmosphere in Tokyo Dome's awesome, and the atmosphere for Puerto Rico's games was awesome. I don't like Lone Depot Park.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
haven't, even when it was bright green and flashy, I don't know why you build a stadium that big. You fly balls. Manny Machado should have had 3 home runs in a game, but 2 just died on the warning track because the stadium's it's too big. It
Hmm.
I don't get it. And then honestly, with the Tokyo Dome, it's just flat green. So it doesn't like
Yeah.
pop on the screen. The only things that popping is Mexico's uniforms. And they went up against Great Britain, whose were made on Microsoft Paint.
Mm-hmm.
That
It seemed like 10 minutes before their first game, they showed up and said, "Oh shit, mate, we ain't got no uniforms." And somebody was like, "I'll handle that."
honestly, someone was like, you have to be in it for a year for us to maybe like put your flag on it.
I think, with the exception of Mexico and Colombia, which is just the City Connect Red Sox jersey,
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
yeah, they're all of them suck. The USA's uniform sucks. Like, I think they all look like shit.
The USA one, I don't know. It kind of harkens me back to the Ben Sheets 2000.
Yeah, which
The
is
flag being
update it, man. That was in 2008.
yeah, the flag being the S is like maybe I'm just used to it and I'm fine with it.
I
But
hate it. I think it looks tacky and old.
huh.
You know what looks great and classic is the Japan jersey. It just looks like a baseball jersey. Like,
Yeah, um,
we're getting off topic.
no, this we're talking about the World Baseball Classic. This is
I
very
guess
important. All
talking
I'll
about
say
that
is the
fit.
first time Mexico was playing, I was like, I've been there. I love Mexico. These uniforms are popping, and it makes me want to root for them a little harder. Then they waxed the
Yeah.
US, and I was like, maybe not, maybe scale it back. But uniform
All right,
wise,
chill, Mexico.
yeah, uniform wise, it's leaps and bound. Then Venezuela's good too because they just use their whole flag.
Yeah.
So what do you want? You want like stars on the one sleeve, stripes on the other?
I feel like
Maybe an
in the
eagle?
time in the time between now and the next World Baseball Classic, or even the next Summer Olympics, just send a fan contest. Do something other than what it is. Like, it's I don't know.
Well, let's see. Cuba's is their flag. Japan is pretty standard. We got who's Mexico's playing? Puerto Rico's are their flag. So I guess you know what I love? I love how inventive catchers can get.
Mm.
Like Maldonado came in for Vasquez in the late innings yesterday, and he had the one star for the Puerto Rican flag on the front of his helmet, and then it went back. I
Yeah.
was like, I like that.
Yeah, catchers helmets in hockey and goalie helmets have always been pretty sick to customize on what it was. Although I also just love Veritek's face mask, and it just said tech written
Yeah.
in
He had
crude
some
marker.
pretty sweet flag gear for July 4th, and he was on the WBC team in 06, I believe.
The inaugural.
So, what do
Well,
you
let me ask you.
think?
I
Like,
think Japan is going to handle business all the way through the final. I'm not as confident with US just because of the pitching. The pitching is
mhm.
so bad. It's not. I don't even want to say it's so bad, but dude, Brady Singer, when he got in, he looked like a little league pitcher.
Which is weird because when I looked at their pitching staff, I was like, oh, he might be maybe their second.
Yeah, and
They have good
when
relievers. If they can get a lead at the end
yeah,
of the game, Presley's
I
one of
like
the best closers.
yeah, I like Alex Presley. I really like David Bednar.
Yeah. Is he on the
But
Pirates still?
I think so.
Yeah. He was their
Um,
lone all-star last year, I
yeah,
think.
he'll be their lone all-star this year
Yeah.
too. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just worried that to get him there. Like, even Wainwright against Great Britain was just serving it up.
Yeah.
And I get that that's what he probably went out there. I don't know how important the manager is to a team, but just some notes here. I did not like Mark DeRosa.
I don't like him as a TV personality much either.
I hate him on the MLB network. I dislike him as the coach as the manager for Team USA, but yeah, I think he brings too much of that, and this is gonna sound like no fun baseball, but I think he brings a little too much of the goofy TV attitude to the dugout. Um he has no idea how to manage a game. I think he got the job because he's affable and on TV every morning making people laugh. Um I would much rather see Andy Pettitte be the manager because he seems like he's deadly serious about
Oh my
everything and
God,
wants to win.
he's always leaning over, saying stuff to DeRosa, and DeRosa's like, okay, like nodding, talking to him, and
That's what he said. That's what DeRosa said in his interview last night. He's like, this guy's pacing the dugout. And I'm
yeah,
like, you're not pitching. I'm like, no, but he doesn't want to win.
yeah, yeah. Too much pizzazz, or I don't know. It's too bad because I actually don't watch MLB Central as much as I'd like to because DeRosa's too much of a ham.
That's exactly what he is. It's too much. I get it. It's a long season. And I'm sure being on TV for 3 hours every morning is very hard to do
Yeah,
and come up with new stuff. But
but
I
I
don't know.
wish
He's like trying to be Al Roker or some shit like that.
Corbin Burns, Spencer Strider, Shane McClanahan, and Justin Verlander were on this team.
So thank you for bringing that up because it's not on our rundown. It's something that I wanted to talk to. Is this a team decision or is this a player decision?
I think I think any one of those guys could have said, yeah, I want to do it, and they would have worked something out. And the team could be like, if you throw 40 pitches in a WBC game compared to 40 pitches against the Twins, like it's 40 pitches. If you're gonna get hurt in those 40 pitches, it's probably gonna happen, not just because you're in Miami compared to Jupiter.
Yeah. I mean, if Edwin Diaz closed out a game against the Twins, he probably doesn't celebrate that hard and doesn't get hurt. But I know what you're saying. Like if there's an arm injury or something happens during your delivery, I don't know. I think it's just convenient. Well, I mean, if it's a team thing, then oh my God, get over yourself. But if it's a player thing, it's like, okay, I get that you want to get ready for your team and help your team try to win a World Series and do the best that you can for you in the season. However, the best player in baseball for possibly the last 2 decades has given up, his team to go fly across an ocean and play with his national team and be one of the best players, if not the best player in the tournament the whole entire time. So it's just like when you bring up those guys, I'm like, all right, is it a commitment to being better for your team, or is it you being unbelievably selfish because you don't want to get hurt and have to face your own team's media and be like, well, do you think if you didn't go so hard in the World Baseball Classic, this wouldn't happen? And I think it's a selfish thing. I mean,
there's
by design, just the way it shakes out. If all the best U.S. pitchers said, I'm going to do this tournament, the U.S. would instantly have the best pitching staff in the entire World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, and if you got, Verlander versus Shohei Ohtani to be the final, first of all, every person in Japan is watching that game, and then you're getting a huge number in the U.S.
Yep.
But even
even if it was a younger guy like Burns or Spencer Strider who throws 100, and it's 2 guys throwing 100 against each other, and even still, if it's not Spencer Strider, you're like, well, shit, Verlander needs to get some work, and he can go 30 pitches out of the bullpen. You still have that option, other than bringing out a Brady Singer to try to stop the bleeding, and then he lets up 8 runs. I bet Brady Singer is going to be good. John Smoltz will tell you that Brady Singer is going to be in the Hall of Fame, but he just had a tough game. Like I don't get. It's disappointing. It's disappointing that no good pitchers have ever done it in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, I get it more for like the Scherzers or Verlander or DeGrom, those guys. But someone like Burns or Bieber, McClanahan, Sandy Alcantara won the Cy Young last year and was like, I'm going to pitch for the Dominican.
Exactly. It kind of shows that the Americans don't have any kind of pride in their country, or it seems that way, to not put their career on hold. And then again, you deal with the same bullshit that was like I brought up earlier with it was Kershaw getting pulled from his perfect game last year. Like if they do get hurt, what's the thinking then? Like, oh, it's a good thing you missed that WBC. You got hurt in June.
Right. So that's the thing. Some people would be like, oh, Shane McClanahan ended up getting hurt. Is it because he ramped up too hard in the World Baseball Classic? But now it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Shane McClanahan's going on the IL. It's like, okay, we don't think of it. And it's like, he didn't pitch in the WBC, so it's not an excuse. I agree. It's a more or less, it's a bummer because nothing against these U.S. pitchers personally. Like Kendall Graveman's a really good reliever, but I would much rather see Corbin Burns. Like,
yeah,
yesterday,
Adam Wainwright. What effectively Adam Wainwright was their opening day starter.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean anything.
True, but at the same time, that's the tippy top of the U.S.'s rotation.
Yeah, I was just bringing it
and
back
that's
to
not
beginning.
That's not. I know what you were doing, but that's not good enough. When you're going against the world.
My argument to U.S. pitchers that don't want to do it is Japan pitched Shohei Ohtani, and then Yu Darvish this morning.
Yeah, and they're going, and that was their single. And then the other kid, their third starter, Sasaki, is making his major league debut this year, and it's going to be. He's like projected to be one of the top pitchers that has ever come over. But yeah, it's just a stark comparison where I fucking love Lance Lynn. I love him as a major league starter. He is not good enough to face the Dominican Republics, Puerto Ricos, and Japans of the world in the World Baseball Classic.
I love Lance
Not
Lynn.
even that he's not good enough, but he's not as good as Jacob deGrom.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We all know that. All right. Do you want to try and stump me if you can?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, right. Good luck, bitch. Fuck you, bitch.
It was a little ridiculous, but
no, that's Michael Jordan to Larry Bird. Have you seen that meme from The Last Dance? After one of the playoff games, when Larry Bird was coaching the Pacers, Jordan just went up to Bird. Bird stuck out his hand. Jordan goes, "Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch." It was great. Larry Bird laughed because Larry Bird gets it.
Yeah, and they're friends.
Yeah,
we're not.
Too. No, we only know each other because we're related.
Yeah, play in the backyard a lot when you were a kid. The American League AL MVP for this year.
Oh, wait, hold on. It was the American League AL MVP? Okay, got it.
Was Baltimore's Frank Robinson.
Okay.
Who won the Triple Crown.
Yes.
Roberto Clemente
Uh-huh.
was the National League MVP.
Okay, for the Pirates, I bet.
For the Pittsburgh Pirates. Do you want more than that?
No, I'm gonna guess 1966.
All right, you did it. Good job, Tom.
Second Jack.
2-0. That's not good. I'm getting myself into a little debt here. Ooh. Somebody did some revising.
No, I just know that it was crazy that there was a Triple Crown winner 2 years in a row in the AL, and then it didn't happen until Miguel Cabrera did it. Just some,
as I said the word Triple Crown, I thought to myself, shit, Yaz won the Triple Crown in 67.
Yeah, Frank Robinson, I also know that he's the only guy to win it in both leagues. So
yeah, but that doesn't really tell you what year.
Well, if he was playing
a little bit of
the Reds in the
trivia,
50s.
A little bit of extra trivia that I know that I found out today while doing this. Did you know, and I did not know this, that for the first 6 years of the award, I think that the Cy Young was only awarded in one league. It was only awarded to one player. Sandy Koufax was the only Cy Young winner. And he retired after this year. 27 wins, 27 complete games.
Did he win all the complete games?
I probably didn't. And then just hold your horses. 27 wins, 27 complete games, 317 strikeouts and 323 innings. Led the NL with a 1.73 ERA.
The guy was good. It's too bad his elbow was junk. because he retired
Yeah.
at like 30.
He said, famously, he said, I would rather live the rest of my life with the ability to carry my kids than throw another strike, which, good for him.
Yeah.
Big labor year in 1966. Marvin Miller is elected president of the MLBPA.
I'm reading a book on that right now called Lords of the Realm. I'll let you borrow it after. And it's actually all about how the owners were shitbags forever.
And because that spurred it on, Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale staged the first ever dual holdout before the season.
Very interesting stuff. And yeah, right now I'm on the chapter about the beer wars in the 70s.
Okay, well, I'm down by 2.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
you
tough.
are. Yeah, you are, kid.
All right. Tom, every once in a while turns into a BU hockey player when he gets excited.
I'm just trying to wonder whose team are you on? Whose side are you on?
Stole the ring off my finger.
I'm on your side. Sure looks that way. All right,
we
Jack.
Like Miracle.
Yeah, we do. Jack, I will be
Tom, I'll see you in person tomorrow.
Yep. I'll see you in person tomorrow for a big day. We'll watch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the NCAA
basketball's already started. Huh? Oh, yeah. It's already time. The madness has begun.
Well, I will see you.
Now that I say that, I did not fill out a bracket.
I shouts to my friend Cam, sent me a bracket yesterday and was like, want to do it? So I clicked into it and I was like, fuck it. Whatever. I'll just fill it out. Haven't watched college basketball. Then I look, there's 3 other people. I was like, are you serious? And he was I was like, are we putting money into it? And then he made a text group and was like, do we want to put money into this? And I was like, what's the point of this?
Dude, I actually watched probably more college basketball than I can remember. I watched a lot of it all season long. And I don't even think I clicked into a bracket to fill one out. I did put a bet on Texas to win because they were getting some pretty good odds and they beat Kansas twice in the regular season. So,
and hey, I don't know much about didn't keep up. I do know Bill Self had a heart attack. So not having your coach matters in college.
Hell yeah. So they lost the Big 12 final to Texas because of that.
Yeah. So watch out. All right, Jack.
All right, Tom. We're all over the map. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.